Well, um, it has been a weird few weeks. Uh, I had an issue with all my tobacco taking on the taste of cardboard gradually, and I asked some people about this in the forums. I was asking forums at pipemagazine.com, and I posted something about it on a video, I think my last video, talking about how everything was starting to kind of taste like cardboard, and I couldn't make any sense of it. Everything being pipe tobacco, so foods, cigarettes, drinks, any other smells, any other tastes, flavors, all normal, all the same, except that pipe tobacco was starting to take on this flavor of cardboard, if you can call that a flavor. I got a lot of responses from a lot of people on the forum and on YouTube. Most people said they had never heard of something like this. They weren't sure about, what that could be. Some people said that they had experienced something similar. 68 Saw Gunner said that he went through a period a while back where, for about a month, I think he said, everything was tasting like soap. Which was a killer for him because he really likes English blends. And he said the solution that he found was to he tried to reset his palate by smoking just Prince Albert for about 2 or 3 weeks, and he said it worked. He said it did the trick. He was, whatever was going on with his senses, it was able to kind of reset that. There was there have been lots of suggestions and ideas from people in the YTPC, and I really appreciate that. I am still rolling those ideas around. They're on the list of things to try next. There was one guy on Pipes Magazine forum said that cigars started tasting really sour to him for a while, and it lasted for a couple of months and then went away, and he never figured out what the deal was. He was able to get rid of it by stopping smoking cigars for a while. And one other person on the forum also said that they could not taste tobacco at all. The pipe tobacco, there was no flavor, just ashy, right? Burned tobacco, ashy kind of taste. Well, that's what's happened to me. I haven't heard an update from this other person yet on the forum, where they're at now, but a few days after everything started tasting like cardboard a little bit, I decided to follow some advice from some of these people and just put the pipe down for a while. Which is hard to do, now that I've been smoking it and it's a regular habit and I really enjoy it. It's kind of my happy place. Hard to stop smoking the pipe completely, but I did it for about a week. I didn't smoke any at all. I was still smoking cigarettes. In a typical cigarette smoker's logic, I reasoned that, I've been smoking cigs for almost 30 years, and they've never done this to me before, so that can't be the culprit, right? Obviously, they're not good for you, can't be helping the situation, but that can't be the reason why my tastes of tobacco are going weird. Again, the cigarettes still taste the same. It's just that pipe tobacco, it was tasting like cardboard. And so I put the pipe down for about a week, picked it up and packed a bowl of Prince Albert, which is what I'm smoking now. And I could only taste about maybe 20% of the Albert. And I could still catch the nuttiness. And oddly enough, I could taste the hints of cocoa that people say are in Prince Albert. I couldn't taste those before. Up until then, I hadn't been able to taste the cocoa in the Albert. But I was picking some of that up. I decided to smoke a bowl of early morning pipe. Couldn't taste it at all. It just tasted like ash. And again, everything else tastes and smells the same. Normal. Everything is normal. I can open the jar of early morning pipe and smell it. It smells the same. Smells normal. Light up a bowl and smoke it. Can't taste it. Just tastes like ash. So I thought, okay, I'm going to give it another week. No pipe again for another week, right? Did that. Same results. Although there was the increased effect of deep up in the top of my nose, where you really feel those tastes, where you really catch those smells and tastes when you blow the smoke around the bin, when you go out your nose with it. Where the English stuff really, really kicks you. The Balkan stuff really tingles up there. Up in there, my nose feels like it does if you've been swimming all day in a chlorinated swimming pool. No pain, no discomfort. Just a strange feeling up there, and can't taste the pipe tobacco. So that's where I've been for the past, we're going on like 3 weeks now of this. And that's one of the reasons I haven't, well, it's the reason that I haven't posted videos, because it just bums me out, you know? You'd be surprised how big a downer it can be to not be able to taste pipe tobacco after having discovered this thing and gotten into the habit of it, all winter and all year this year. It's been my jam, man. That's been the thing, like I said, my happy place. And suddenly, very suddenly, over the matter of a couple days, it's just gone, with no explanation. I feel like the rug has been pulled out from underneath me. So a big bummer. And I'll be honest, it's messed with my my mood. It has messed with my what's the word I'm looking for? My demeanor, not my demeanor. My general outlook on things has been rather dour. So, I talked to last night. Was it last night? Yeah, last night. I got in touch with Paul Gilson, Paul the Pipe Guy, who is, man, if you've never talked to this guy, you should. Super, super cool guy. He is exactly he is exactly what you expect when you watch his videos. Like, what you see is what you get with Paul Gilson. That's him, man. That's him. We I gave him a call, and for 2 hours, at least 2 hours, we were talking to each other. Just took like old pals, I knew if I talked to this guy, that's the kind of character that he was, is what you see in the videos, and it is. And it was a blast. We had a lot of fun. We talked about everything from rock and roll to wisdom teeth to Latakia. Just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And a very funny guy. He said something that kind of gave me, well, it did give me kind of an epiphany. We were talking about ways to rehydrate tobacco. And I mentioned to him that that I had a blend that I had bought, and I heard somewhere about the old trick of putting a slice of apple in a jar to rehydrate some tobacco. And one of my Balkan blends had gotten really, really crunchy. I put that slice of apple in there to moisturize it, hydrate it for a day or two. And it did the trick, but when I smoked it, it tasted kind of funky. You know, in the jar, it was a little bit of a funky smell, but not awful. Just off. And then I smoked it, and it didn't taste great, you know. And I'm telling Paul this, and he goes, "Dude, that's called mold." So it's like, that's mold. So when he said this, a light bulb went off that should have gone off before, and it occurred to me that just a day or two before I started getting this cardboard stuff going on. So like a week before, the tastes went away completely, and I have this weird sensation up here. I had smoked that stuff. I'm thinking now that it's possible that I smoked some moldy tobacco and somehow gave myself a sinus infection that is just blocking all of the senses, the nerves, whatever up there. I don't know. I got, bummed out enough about it that for the past few days, I've been smoking a pipe anyways, even though I can't taste it. Just kind of testing it and hoping against hope that this is going to just come back, And I think it will. I don't think it's a serious issue. Again, I don't have pain or discomfort. So I'm going to give it some time. I'm, taking a lot of vitamins. I'm actually going to go and go see a doctor about it and see, hey, maybe get some antibiotics or something. See if they can figure out what's up. It kind of feels like what I would call an Arizona cold. I lived out in Arizona for a while, and when you get a cold, it's not really a cold like you get back east, It's the beginnings of a cold. Feels like it's coming on, but it never quite kicks in. And it'll hold that for 2 or 3 weeks. That's what I feel like I have, basically. So, anyhow, someone on the Pipe Magazine forum suggested that it might be asymptomatic COVID, which is impossible because I have a symptom. So there's that. Anyhow, so I've been trying to find ways to kill time. Can't really enjoy the pipe. Every time I light it up, it kind of bums me out. So instead of doing that, I've found other pipe-related things to do to occupy my time when I have time. I've been working like crazy. And one of those things is that I've been digging up. I saw that Carolina Rose found a Jerry R. Perry pipe. I think she said on eBay. Which was, I was impressed. That's pretty cool because, like I said, the guy doesn't, most of the information that I have been able to find about his pipes has been directly from him through phone conversations. I haven't been able to find anything online. Just a handful of photos of some of his pipes, which have been sold on Smoking Pipes, by the way. If you want to see what some of his other work looks like, Smoking Pipes did have some there that they sold at one point in time. But I saw Miss Carolina Rose, I saw her video where she showed off the pipe that she had. Handsome thing. I'm really excited to see it when it's cleaned up. Hear what she says about how it smokes. And it got me wanting to look for, see, you know, she found that thing so fast. After, like, as soon as she starts looking for one, she finds one. It's like, man, she's got better luck than me, you know. I'm going to look again. So I'm digging around, trying to find a Jerry Perry pipe out there somewhere. And I'm doing searches, you know, Jerry Perry pipe, tobacco pipe, and so on. And I come across this auction site that I've never heard of before called Rockology Auction of Nashville, something like that. And it has, it's one of these sites that has celebrity memorabilia for sale. So like if you want to buy, you know, a pair of socks that Elvis Presley wore one time, or a keychain Roy Orbison had, or something like that, right? These guys auction that kind of stuff off. And they had a handful of tobacco pipes that were owned at one time by Jerry Lee Lewis, American icon, rock and roll legend, Jerry Lee Lewis. They had some tobacco pipes that used to belong to him. Which is, it's funny, I never knew that the guy smoked a tobacco pipe. It's not surprising. He's part of that generation, you know, he came from that era where smoking was more common. And definitely even pipe smoking was more common. But I thought that's interesting, you know. Who knew? Jerry Lee Lewis smoked a pipe. If you don't know who he is, I'm going to read for you, because for those, you ought to know. But some people, maybe they're young enough, they don't know. Here's just a few things that Wikipedia has to say about Jerry Lee Lewis, in case you've been living under a rock for the past, 100 years. Jerry Lee Lewis was an American pianist, singer, and songwriter. Nicknamed the Killer, he was described as rock and roll's first great wild man. A pioneer of rock and rockabilly music, his hit Whole Lotta Shakin' Going On shot him to worldwide fame. His 1964 live album, Live at the Star Club in Hamburg, is regarded by many music journalists and fans as one of the wildest and greatest live rock albums ever, of all time. He had a dozen gold records in rock and country. He won 4 Grammy Awards, including a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, 2 Grammy Hall of Fame Awards. He was inducted into the inaugural class of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He was recognized by the Rockabilly Hall of Fame, also a member of the inaugural class inducted into the Memphis Music Hall of Fame, also inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. In 2004, Rolling Stone ranked him number 24 on their list of the 100 greatest artists of all time. Jerry Lee Lewis was the last surviving member of Sun Records' $1 Million Quartet, which included the likes of Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, and Elvis Presley. Music critic Robert Grisco said of Lewis, his drive, his timing, his offhand vocal power, his unmistakable boogie plus piano, and his absolute confidence in the face of the void make Jerry Lee Lewis the quintessential rock and roller. So that's a little bit about Jerry Lee Lewis. He wrote Great Balls of Fire, if you've ever heard the song. Again, if you haven't, you've been living under a rock somewhere. An American legend. And these guys had his tobacco pipes for sale. He passed away in 2022. Well, I thought that's cool. Like, who knew he smoked, right? So, I was looking around and trying to find some pictures of him smoking a pipe. And, it took a little bit of digging, but I found some. I did find some of the great rock and roller himself, the Killer, smoking a tobacco pipe, which is cool. I also found some pictures of him smoking cigars, drinking a beer, and getting arrested. He appeared to be having a lot of fun doing all three. So yeah, I'm thinking that's funny, and I keep looking around this site, you know. The pipes were priced pretty high. I mean, there was what you would expect. They didn't look like anything special, but it looked like what you would, the kind of markup you would put if it was someone, you know, of his fame, of his celebrity. If it had been owned by somebody like that, you might expect them. I think it was like $750, $800, something like that they were charging for these pipes. You could also buy, like, there was a coin that he had from a casino somewhere or something. There was like a receipt from a Holiday Inn he stayed at one time. It was stuff like this, right? And it's all, you know, okay, I guess if that's for you, then that's for you, you know. All kinds of memorabilia that you could get. And apparently this stuff was provided by his ex-wife. He had 7 wives, if I'm not mistaken, and this was his longest running marriage. I did read one interview where she said he was a great guy, you know, as long as she knew him. Well, apparently she provided some of these things. So I'm looking around this website, just kind of checking stuff out, right? And I noticed that in addition to tobacco pipes, they had a bag of pipe tobacco that had been owned. There was this page that said, bag of pipe tobacco owned by Jerry Lee Lewis. Which is like, what? So I clicked on it, and yeah, it's like, it's a bag of pipe tobacco that Jerry Lee Lewis, okay? He wrote Great Balls of Fire. Part of the $1 Million Quartet. They had a bag of pipe tobacco that was previously owned by him. And it just cracked me up, you know. The prices of the pipes, here's what got me. The prices of the pipes were up there. Like, you could tell they had put a markup on these things. Like, you know, it's a collector's item. Somebody's really going to want this, and they're going to fork over some cash for it, you know. But the pipe tobacco, they did not. I mean, they were selling it for about as much as, like a Prince Albert, almost as much as what you would get a tub of Prince Albert for. So I guess they weren't, you know, I don't know who makes those decisions, but I guess they didn't think that stuff would fly very fast. I don't know. It got me. You know, no, that's the kind of stuff I've been occupied with, you know. Yeah, not being able to really enjoy the pipe. So I'm out on the web searching around for this kind of crap, and that's what you stumble across. I left my ashtray in here. Yeah. So anyhow, it made me laugh, and it made me think, you know, it's just funny to think of the things that people will spend money on, you know. Yeah. So anyways, this is what Jerry Lee Lewis's pipe tobacco looks like. It's called Blender's Gold. It's a sweet Cavendish. I can smell it, you know. I can smell it. It doesn't smell awful. I'm not gonna lie. There it is. Look at that. Look. Jerry Lee Lewis owned this bag of pipe tobacco. I'm holding a bag of, the man wrote Great Balls of Fire, okay? I mean, I couldn't believe it. How are you not going to buy this? How are you not? It was so cheap. It was. How are you not? It's sealed. It's still sealed up. It has not been opened. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he went to the store and picked it up himself. I don't know. I have to assume that he at least picked the blend. Look at it. That's Jerry Lee Lewis's from his personal stash. The man was friends with Roy Orbison and Elvis Presley, you guys. I'm holding his bag. He owned this bag of pipe tobacco. I think it's amazing, and I think that you'd have to be crazy to pass it up. And again, it cost like about as much. It's a 12-ounce bag. It's Sweet Cavendish, created by Master Blenders, Blenders Gold. It cost about as much as Prince Albert does. A tub of Prince Albert's, I think 14 ounces, cost me like $35-40. This was $45 for 12 ounces. I mean, you can't. Prince Albert didn't write any hit tunes. You know what I mean? Prince Albert didn't make it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Jerry Lee Lewis did. He did. I mean, and I'm stoked. I think it's pretty freaking awesome. It's all sealed up. You can kind of smell it. I don't know if it's musty or not. It's hard to say. It doesn't feel dried. It feels like it's at the right moisture level. Yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad. Being in this bag like this, I don't know. It's got a date on the back, 10:21 p.m. I think it says, well, I don't know what these numbers mean, but I think it means 2011. It's hard to say, I mean, I'm not going to smoke it for obvious reasons. You know what I mean? I got to wait until this thing with my nose is worked out. I mean, at this rate, if it tasted like balls of fire, I wouldn't know. So gonna wait until this stuff gets figured out and crack it open and see what does it taste like. I gotta know what Jerry Lee Lewis was puffing on. You know what I mean? I gotta know. It's been driving me nuts since I clicked on that web page and saw the picture. I had to know. I had to know. So there it is. Sweet Cavendish is what he smoked. I'll show it to you again. Jerry Lee Lewis owned this pipe tobacco. Look at this. I'm going to smoke it. For sure I'm going to smoke this. I hope nothing strange happens. But, and it's a real testament to just how hard it is, just how difficult it is to find a Jerry R. Perry pipe. I was able to find a bag of tobacco owned by Jerry Lee Lewis, sold by his ex-wife that he divorced 30 years ago. I was able to get that easier than I could find a single Jerry Perry pipe anywhere online. So I'm really impressed that Carolina Rose landed that billiard that she did. That's pretty incredible. That's pretty wild. Yeah. So, I can't smoke anything and taste it right now, but I can have fun in other ways. There are other ways to satisfy the pad and the tad and all these other things. Just a funny thing that happened. It says it came with a certificate of authenticity. Rockology Nashville, right? I don't know if you can see it or not. That's what it looks like. Anyways, certificate of authenticity. This is to affirm that the listed items below are authentic to the best of our knowledge. Items: bag of pipe tobacco owned by Jerry Lee Lewis. It says it right there. These items come from Carrie Lewis, who was married to rock and roll legend Jerry Lee. He wrote Great Balls of Fire. Jerry Lee Lewis. These items were owned and worn by Jerry Lee Lewis. Well, let's hope not. Let's hope he didn't wear it. Norman K. Brewer Jr., president of Rockology Auctions, Nashville. And then it's got a date, and it has, you know, it's got Norman's signature. It's got that down there. So, I mean, it's legit. It's as legit as it's going to be. Yeah. I Googled to make sure that Jerry Lee Lewis was, in fact, married to a woman named Carrie Lewis, and he was. That's all the proof I need. This is more solid proof or evidence that Jerry Lee Lewis owned this bag of pipe tobacco. The man wrote Great Balls of Fire, okay? This is more solid evidence that he actually owned this bag of tobacco than my symptoms are that I have asymptomatic COVID. So, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Dude on pipesmagazine.com trying to spread fear. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to. I'm going to go ahead and smoke another bowl of Prince Albert just because it's smooth, you know, even if I can't really taste anything here. It's smooth and it's pleasant in that sense, and I'm going to enjoy that. But that's what I've been up to. That's why I haven't posted anything lately. You know, riding this thing out, I'm going to do the responsible thing. I'm going to go to a doctor and have them look at it and tell me, you know, what they think might be wrong, and see what they might want to do or give me to help me out if they can find anything. I believe that this stuff is going to turn around. I don't think I'm stuck with this thing, this issue, whatever, forever. I don't buy that. But man, it's hard to be patient. It's hard to be patient. Have no option. You have no option. All you can do is sit still sometimes, you know. Good times talking to Paul Gilson. That was a blast, man. That was a lot of fun. That guy is cool as hell.